Hello, welcome back to Agriculture Form 1. We are still on topic 5, and this is farm business management. So we are done looking on the concepts of farm business management, and we now started looking onto details on the first concept, which is production. So in the last lesson we discussed on the main factors of production, but now we are going to proceed from where we stopped by looking on the other or minor or trace factors of production. So be with me. While the four major parts of production, land, labor, capital, and management, will influence agricultural productivity greatly, there are also other factors which have a share in productivity. Though the impact of the four main factors of production is much more or is greater, but still more, these other factors of production can also not be ruled out. So the other factors of production which will also affect agricultural production is market, risks and uncertainties, research, quota, climate, economy, availability and quality of inputs, as well as government policy. So we are here to discuss on two details on how these other factors of production will affect agricultural production. Let us start with the market. A market is a place where goods and services are exchanged, as a situation where there exist buyers and sellers of a particular produce. But the products will need to reach the market using some means like loads. So poor means of transport, for example, loads may not allow farmers to sell their farm produce at the right time. So this may lead to reduction in quality of the farm produce, thus lowering its marketability. So if the marketability of the products are lowered, obviously it means the farmer may incur losses or there will be less profits. Because of that, the farmer may be discouraged to produce more especially where there is poor transport. So that's why we say market will also affect productivity. If there is a good market or the market is easily reachable, it means there will be maximum profit for the farmer, encouraging him to work hard and producing more. But if the market is not good and also not reachable, it means that will discourage the farmer, leading to low production. Let us now look on climate. Climate is also another factor of production which will affect agricultural productivity. We can define climate as an atmospheric condition recorded for a long period of time, let's say over 20 years. So we are aware that different farming enterprises do well in different climatic conditions. We talk of crop production as well as animal production. Some of the crops, for example, they require low temperatures. For example, wheat and tea. These require low temperatures. So if they are grown on low temperatures, it means there will be high production. But if the same are grown on high temperature, there will be low production. While milk, sorghum, cotton, these ones, they do well on high temperatures. It means there will be high production if they are grown on high temperatures, but there will be low production if they are grown on low temperature. So because of this, whereby we're saying that some of the crops they favor a certain climatic condition. So if that climate condition is not available in some other places, it means there will be low production for that particular crop or animal. If that is the case, the farmer will be discouraged to produce more, affecting productivity. But if that particular climatic condition favors the animals the farmer is keeping, or favors the crops the farmer is growing, that will enhance production. Another minor factor of production is risks and uncertainties. There is a difference between risks and uncertainties, though most of the people they combine the two terms, risks and uncertainties, but there are some differences, though the other one will lead to the other, but in terms of definitions they differ. We can define risks as the divergence between expectation and actual outcome, or we can define risk as the difference between a farmer could predict and the actual outcome. So when you are preparing the budget, you predict on how much you are expecting to get from the farm, but what you are going to actually get from the farm might differ. So that's the risk. So some of the things which may lead to the risk or the difference between the predicted and the actual outcome are theft, accidents to employees or employer, disease and pest outbreak, farmers and his household's health, variation in crop yield. So these ones may lead to the change between what you predicted and the actual output. While we can define uncertainties as a state of imperfect knowledge about future events or outcome, we're talking of the state where you know nothing about the future. That's what we refer to uncertainties. So good examples of uncertainties, we have price fluctuations, uncertainty of physical yield. You never know. You have planned that you harvest 100 kgs, but you never know the actual physical yield. Uncertainty associated with new production techniques, obsolescence, transport liability, breach of contract. You might be in contract with some company so that you'll be delivering your produce, but sometimes the contract may be breached, so you never know. Just because you already signed for 5 years, but for 2 years they say it's we are done. Unavailability of labor, unavailability of agricultural inputs. Almost each and every time we know that the inputs will be there, but you never know that maybe those inputs they might not be available at some point in time. So those are imperfect knowledge about the future. So those they will affect productivity. So these unpredictable events make the farmer to work in situation of uncertainty of the future outcome. Therefore, these uncertainties may bring about differences in what the farmer expects to happen and what actually happens. So, in short, this is known as risk. That's the difference between the expected outcome and the actual outcome. So, those risks and uncertainties are the risks and uncertainties that commonly face the farmer. May include the following: change in price of commodity. You have planned that you are going to sell at so much, but when that time comes, you find that the price at the market is different. Apart from that, failure of physical production. You planned you are going to harvest 100 kgs, but because of the risks and uncertainties, then you are harvesting maybe 80 kgs. Apart from that, change in government policy. The government policies, they are revised almost each and every time. So maybe the previous, when you are planting your crops or when you are rearing your animals, the policies were different. When it comes to time for selling, then the policies have also changed. Apart from that, personal circumstances, let's say maybe the farmer who planned, or more especially on how the activities will be conducted, is sick, is unwell. Obviously that will affect how those activities can be conducted, thereby affecting productivity as well. Or maybe actually the same farmer who planned what he's going to do on the farm has died, so the relatives who are remaining, they might abandon everything, thereby affecting production. Apart from that, development of new technologies. Of course, the technologies are being improved for better and better, but some of them they may affect production in a negative way. So those are some of the risks and uncertainties that commonly face farmers. It is possible to adjust the risks and uncertainties. It is very possible to adjust these risks and uncertainties. So there are ways through which these risks and uncertainties can be adjusted. So these risks and uncertainties, they can be adjusted at individual level, meaning a farmer can reduce the effects of the risks and uncertainties using different methods. But apart from that, even the government can also play an important role in minimizing the effects of risks and uncertainties to farmers. So what are the farmers' roles in minimizing the risks or the effects of risks and uncertainties? Number one is through diversification of enterprises. The farmer can invest in several enterprises on the farm so that he can rely on the other if one fails. So the farmer can engage himself into several enterprises. Let's say in crop production, you can engage in wheat production, maize production, groundnut production, so that if one enterprise fails, you rely on the other. The same applies in livestock production. Apart from that, selecting more reliable enterprises. There are some of the enterprises which you are very sure that they will never fail. Come rain, come sunshine, those enterprises will never fail. So the farmer needs to select such enterprises which will never fail, Or some of the enterprises, their prices, they do not fluctuate much. So the farmer needs to select such enterprises. Apart from that, another way through which a farmer can minimize effects of risks and uncertainties is contract production. This is where a farmer enters into a contract with consumers or processors before undertaking production. This guarantees the farmer a fixed market price for his produce, even when market forces do not allow. So the farmer should engage himself into a contract. He should sign contract with some organizations or institutions or processors so that he should be as a supplier. Most of the times the fixed price is set. Even if the price is high at the market, even if the price is low at the market, you have that fixed price of selling your products once you sign a contract. Apart from that, input rationing is also another way of minimizing the risks of uncertainties at farmers' level. Farmers may apply less inputs than the recommended rates for a particular enterprise. so that in case of product failure or price falls, the farmer will suffer less loss, rather than if you apply or if you use too much inputs. It means there will be high cost of production. If that is the case, if that fails, that enterprise fails where you have invested so much, the risk will just be too much. So to prevent the too much risk, there is need of input rationing, whereby you just lessen the amount of inputs to be used. Another one is flexibility in production. Physical structures which can be used for different purposes are less subjected to uncertainty due to flexibility. Such structures can easily be used for another enterprises with maximum modification. So when let's say you are constructing the different physical structures, let's say the crop processing structures, crop storage structures, those structures can be used for different purposes, rather than just fixing that this structure will just be used to keep maybe crop produce. Let's say if that particular year you have less produce to keep, it means those structures can be also used for other purposes, thereby maximizing its utilization. Apart from that, adopting modern production techniques. Possible losses can be avoided by incurring extra costs to embark modern techniques of production. For example, vaccination of animals. This will minimize animals being killed by diseases. Irrigation during dry periods. We know for sure that nowadays we're experiencing erratic rainfall. So if you use irrigation, it means when there is drought, you can just supplement irrigation, harvesting more. Apart from that, dipping of livestock against external parasites. The parasites will also affect production. So if you do frequent dipping of those livestock, that will minimize the impact of external parasites to animal production. Use of pesticides to protect crops from pest attack can also be another modern production technique. So there is need for the farmer to adopt these modern techniques. They will do much more good than harm. Apart from that, taking insurance cover. A farmer may pay small premiums to insurance companies against production of a particular enterprise. In case of loss due to fire or other calamities, the insurance cover will compensate for the losses. So those are some of the roles the farmer can play to minimize the effects of risks and uncertainties. Now let us look on the roles the government can play in minimizing the effects of risks and uncertainties. So the government can emphasize on weather forecasting. This is the prediction of onset of rains, whereby the farmer this will help the farmer to prepare land and plant at the right time. Apart from that, research and extension services. Farmers are given necessary information which can help them in the proper selection of high-yielding and disease-resistant crop varieties. Once the research is done, it means the farmer will also be able to adopt new techniques of production. For example, biotechnology and grafting, selecting new varieties and breeds of livestock in the market. Another role is the government can play is subsidization of input prices. The government can offer subsidies on inputs and services such as fertilizer, tractor hire services, and veterinary services. So the government departments can avail these inputs or services at relatively low prices than the market price. I think here in Malawi, this is common, more especially on fertilizer subsidy, whereby the farmers they buy with less money uh, than the normal price at the market. For example, the fertilizer, as of now, we are talking of 70 something thousand, but for the subsidy price is only 15,000. So, if the farmer can be using those subsidized inputs, it means the below cost of production. The below cost of production. Apart from that, market regulation may also help. Market regulation may also help. Market regulation protects the farmer from exploitation. For instance, in the coffee industry, market agents are vetted and are registered by the government. So once they are registered by the government, it means the government also play the role if in case some other people who wants to buy from the farmers would like to exploit them. Another minor factor of production is pests, parasites, and diseases. Pests are organisms which cause damage to agriculture by feeding. Parasites are animals which derive nutrients from living animals. So, field pests such as insects, rodents, birds attack crops in the field and destroy them. Storage crops such as the weevils can also destroy harvested crops by feeding on the grains and making holes. And also animal diseases such as coccidiosis in poultry, East Coast fever in cattle are also detrimental. The diseases can kill the animals eventually if are not properly treated. So we're talking of the pests, parasites, diseases. All these they cause harm to crops as well as livestock. Because of that, there will be low production. So most times the pests, parasites, and diseases they will affect agricultural production in a negative way, just because that they will lead to low productivity. Another other factor of production is quota. Quota refers to the limited amount or quantity of the produce a farmer or a country is allowed to produce in market, for example, coffee and tobacco. So quotas are put in place to control farmers' production in terms of quantity and quality. More especially for the products which we rely on the external buyers. These products, those buyers, they set a limit on how much they are going to buy from the farmers or from the government. So if the limit is too low, it means the production will also be low. But if the limit is high, it means the production will also be high. So that's how quota will affect production. That's how quota will affect production. We're saying quota, there is a limit in terms of amount or quantity of produce the farmer or a country is allowed to produce. So that limit which is set can either be low, leading to low production, or can be high, leading to high production. So the other factors are research. Research provides proper information to farmers which boost production. We know through conducting research is where there will be some recommendation on what methods, good methods we can use to boost production, on what produce we can use where, so that will affect production in a positive way. Economy as well is another minor factor of production. Where there is stable economy, that will encourage farmers to increase production. But if the economy is not stable in the country, that will encourage the farmer to produce enough production. The other trace factor of production is availability and quality of inputs. Sometimes the farmer might plan that he's going to use the certain inputs, but you find out that those inputs, they are not available at the market. So that will discourage the farmer to engage into farming, leading to low production. And also sometimes the inputs might be available, but they can be of low quality. So low quality inputs automatically will lead to low production. The last trace factor of production is government policy. Some government policies favor the farmer, hence that will increase production. But there are other policies which will not favor the farmer. Such policies will discourage the farmer, leading to low production. So, having done on the other factors of production, let us now look on the challenges associated with factors of production and their possible solutions. Land, remember, is one of the main factors of production, but there are challenges associated with this factor of production, land. One of the challenges under land is land tenure system. Some lands are communally owned, and people have no lead to show claim ownership, and hence people have no incentives to invest and improve the land, increasing its productivity. So the best solution can be to institute land reforms by undertaking land demarcations and registration, and then issue some deeds. The other challenge associated with land is land degradation. It is destroyed and loses its value from mining as well as quarrying. Such degraded land is of little use in construction and farming as well. What can be the possible solution? The government should enforce rules that require people to rehabilitate such lands by refilling the gaping holes and leveling. The lands should be planted with tree or vegetation. Another challenge under land is loss of soil fertility through water or wind erosion. The possible solution is just undertaking soil erosion control measures, both biological and physical measures, and the addition of both organic manure and inorganic fertilizer use. Another challenge under land is land use change from agricultural to real estate and industrial development. This reduces productive land for agricultural production. What can be the possible solution? The government should enforce the rules governing the change of land use and ensure that users follow accordingly. On the same land, another challenge is continued land subdivision to uneconomical units of agricultural production. As we all know that the population is growing rapidly, therefore the lands are being subdivided, which can be uneconomical. So the possible solution can be develop land use policy on minimum acceptable land divisions for both agricultural and real estate development, and also consolidate small pieces of land to one holding to enable mechanized farming to occur. The last challenge under land is vast idle land denies the country the opportunity for production. There are some of the lands and big lands which are just idle, so it's a challenge as well. The possible solution is land use policy to introduce tax on idle land to encourage their exploitation. Let us now look on the challenges associated with capital. Capital is another main factor of production, though it will contribute greatly in productivity, but there are some challenges. One of the challenges is lack of affordable credit facilities, leading to less exploitation of land and hence limited production. So, as we all know that capital is very essential when it comes to production, but some of the people, they might not have enough capital to invest on farming as business. So, unfortunately, the credits, sometimes they are not available to farmers, and sometimes they are not even affordable to farmers. So the possible solution is provide input subsidies to make inputs affordable, as well as increase lending institutions. High interest rates on loans, hence discouraging people from borrowing, is another challenge under capital. As we have already said, sometimes the credits are not available, but sometimes they can be available. But when they are available now, there is high interest rates. So the possible solution to that is lower the interest rates through central bank intervention by lowering their own base lending rate. Another challenge under capital is lack of collateral for loans to young people. When it comes to investing in farming, this can not only be done by older people, but even young people, they also need to invest in farming. But these young people, they may not have enough capital. At the same time, maybe they will need to get some credits or some loans. But most of the money lending institutions, they will need collateral for one to get a loan from their institution. So that's a challenge, more especially to young ones. What can be the solution to that? Providing grants to special groups like women and youth through special fund adding interest-free with no collateral. Apart from that, lack of saving culture, hence low investment, is also another challenge associated with the capital. When you are engaging into business, it is important that you should have the saving culture. But this is not common to most of the farming investors. So the possible solution can be civic educating. So educating people and creating more financial facilities for savings. Labor, as mentioned, is also another main factor of production, but there are some challenges associated to labor, like shortage of labor during peak seasons and surplus in off-peak season. The possible solution can be reorganization of farm enterprises to ensure a combination of enterprise that utilize labor throughout the year, and payment of competitive wages may attract labor during times of shortage. Another challenge under labor is lack of skilled labor for some operations. You might have some laborers, but those which are not skilled at all. So the possible solution to that is to invest in a labor training and pay competitive salary or wages. Another challenge associated with labor is low efficiency, especially in manual operations. The possible solution is through mechanization. Mechanization can help where there is low efficiency in manual operations. Another challenge is strikes. Some laborers, they engage themselves in strikes. That will lead to low productivity. So it's also a challenge associated with labor. The possible solution is just by motivating those laborers through proper rewarding and improve of working condition. And there is also need to avoid labor exploitation. Entrepreneurship, management, or organization is another main factor of production, but it also has some challenges as well. One of the challenges is little experience, low skills and knowledge, or lack of managerial skills. These are some of the challenges. You might have a manager but lack some managerial skills. You might have a manager has low skills. You might have a manager has little experience. So those are the challenges. So what can be the possible solutions? Education and training of farmers or managers at farmers training colleges or centers, universities, farmers open days, agricultural shows, trade fairs, and exhibition. Apart from that, farmers or managers can also acquire knowledge of management from magazines, newspapers, internet, and other electronic media, for example, radio and television. Another challenge associated with managerial management is old age and young age. You find out that the manager is too old while the other manager maybe is too young. That's the challenge. How? Old managers have the challenge of low innovativeness. They stick on old technology or they use old method of production. While young animals, though they are very innovative, but they lack experience. So that's the challenge. What can be the possible solution? There is need to mix both young and old managers that will enhance their managerial skills and technological knowledge through continued training. So that was it on the trace or other factors of production. So we have discussed how those other factors of production will affect production in a positive way as well as in a negative way. So this is the exercise I need you to do. So please try to attempt all the questions. Next, it means here we are done. The farm business management as the whole topic. So next time we're going to start another topic, which is topic 6, agricultural marketing. Agricultural marketing will be our next topic. So for now, goodbye.